I've been thinking recently about stories and how they're so helpful, like little roadmaps to life. And especially in my 30s, I really gravitated towards story. All of a sudden, I felt lost. I thought, oh shit, what is all this shit? And you read so many stories in your 20s, and they don't apply to your life at all. And most of those, I just feel like they're just bullshit and lies. I've always thought art is either medicine or poison, and there's nothing in between, and you have to drink a lot of poison to find the medicine. And so stories can be medicine, like little roadmaps out of our bullshit problems, especially when you're traveling alone and you're doing your own thing, and there's no one else has the same story, and you're going, holy shit, I'm lost, I'm out here alone. How am I going to get back home, wherever home is, whatever? Yeah, I've been thinking about stories recently, and how, especially when I was a kid, I play these games, and they were Sierra games, and they were kind of very blocky, pixelated little games, adventure games, and you type text into it to tell the character what to do. You could make him move around these little scenes, these little pixelated, beautiful scenes of forests or urban places like Police Quest and Leisure Suit Larry and King's Quest. And those scenes were beautiful. I really almost didn't care about the story. I just wanted the story to advance so I could discover a new scene. And each scene felt like a new dream to enter into. Because as a kid, I didn't need stories to save me. Stories, I didn't give a shit about stories. I loved the scenery. All I needed was something beautiful. I felt like I could enter into it like it was a dream, and it was incredible. And as I got older, first I was an artist, or I tried my hand at illustration and painting, and I wasn't quite good enough. I'm kind of like an 8 out of 10. I still sell my illustrations and paintings online, prints of them, and they sell. I lived off them actually a year or two ago, until my book started selling more. People gravitated towards my words and my stories. In my 20s, I didn't love stories. I still loved paintings and scenery. That interests me. But as I got older and life got harder, I needed stories to help me get out of my own bullshit story that I was getting myself into. My real life bullshit stories. And so I started to develop a kind of a dislike for illustration. I just kind of felt like illustration and painting was kind of, I almost had not a contempt, but a disrespect for it. I thought, that's not going to help you. It's just decoration. Who gives a shit about photography and pretty pictures? Stories were where all the dirt and the hardcore life shit was, and that was the real stuff that could elevate me out of my own problems. That was the medicine. And now, just in the last few days, I'm coming back to, like, I've been playing these games. Like, there's a game called Life is Strange. This is going back to the King's Quest and the Police Quest and Sierra game days. Game called Life is Strange, and it's kind of a story, slow, narrative-driven adventure game. And I'm playing the dudes who made it from Montreal, Canada. They made a new game, and it's called, what is this game called? That's the screen. That's the what do you call it? The holding page. Darby, what's this game called? Darby. Bring it up, Darby. Lost Records. It's called Lost Records, and it's about 4 teenage girls go on some supernatural adventure, and it's based in the 90s. It's just all this beautiful scenery, like you can see there. It reminds me of the dream of life, and it pulls me back towards the dream and not the problems of the world. And for a story to be good, it needs an obstacle, a hurdle, and it's about overcoming something. At the age now, without meaning to sound precocious, that I'm kind of tired of stories. I'm tired of obstacles. I'm tired of rags to riches, or I was this, but now I'm this. All these stories in the world that are about self-improvement or getting better, striving, they're relentless. It's the only story that we tell ourselves over and over again, and it's fucking boring. I'm tired of it. I wrote something recently about how it was kind of precocious and kind of bullshit. I had a laugh while I was writing it. I wrote something about I'm at the age now where I've seen it. I can say I've seen it all before. Your shitty childhood, seen it. That revolutionary new film, seen it. And I hated it the first time around when it came out 30 years ago. Yeah, just shit like that. And then it goes into, but that's why old people like bird watching, because they're tired of stories. They're tired of this overcoming something, this relentless, you got to overcome it. You got to overcome it. Why not just settle back into life and just fucking enjoy it? The scenery. It's like a struggle. Stories are a struggle. They're all about struggle on some level. And that's what makes them interesting. These stories, these games that involve scenery, they just remind me of the beauty of life. I don't want any more stories. They say there's only 7 stories to be told in the world. And I've read various incarnations of them, seen whatever over 50 years, 49. I keep rounding it up to 50. I'm 49, I may as well round it up to 60. At least pretend to look young for a while. So there you go. I'm trying to overcome looking old, overcoming something. Yeah, fucking stories. But anyway, it's just the last few weeks. For some reason, I don't know what clicked, what made it happen. Actually, I vaguely remember what made it happen. A few years ago, I wrote a little poem and it finished with, I'm tired of stories. And that poem never went anywhere. I never published it. Oh, maybe I did, but it was too shit. But I rewrote it recently after watching Severance. It goes like this. Stories need an obstacle, something to overcome. But as a kid, I didn't need a story, just a scene where there was nothing to make sense of. Maybe something at night, in the rain, a dream I could enter into. I'm tired of stories. So I rewrote that yesterday, based on that thing that I wrote 4 years ago. So something 4 years ago was prodding at me for me to write that I was tired of stories, that I was coming closer to where I got to today. So it was like a 3 or 4 year journey that was going on in my head that I wasn't aware of until it just came out when I was watching Severance the other day. And this first season's great. The season 2 is really just overwritten bullshit. It's overcooked. They're trying too hard. They've lost the simplicity of it, but it's still beautifully shot and it's beautiful to look at. And so I stopped focusing on the story and I started just being lost in the scenery and the beautifully shot bits of it. And I thought, I don't care about the story. I just want to be lost in that scene. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to look at. It reminds me of Gregory Crewdson photography. He's worth looking up. American dude. Almost looks like they're shot out of a Steven Spielberg film. And then it reminds me, all this stuff also keeps pointing back towards David Lynch's films. His stuff always is kind of, you can enter into, some of it's so beautiful to look at, and the story is so secondary and dreamlike that it reminds you to focus on the beauty of, to be lost in that in a beautiful way, and how unimportant the story is, and how struggles are coming and going all the time, and it doesn't fucking matter. So yeah, David Lynch movies, these really slow kind of games like the one I'm playing at the moment, and the games that I initially loved as a kid when I was 10, I was playing these in the late 80s, these Sierra Adventure games, and how I just wanted to advance the story to see the new scenery so I could be lost in the dream of that beautiful scenery. Makes me want to buy art again. I remember I stopped buying art. I just didn't give a shit about it. I started buying books. Books, story. Give me some clues and hints and tips on how to escape the straitjacket of life. No, stop fucking trying to struggle. Maybe this is a turning point for me. Maybe I'm going to stop struggling. I don't know. Anyway, if you'd like to leave a review for this on Spotify or Apple or comment on YouTube, I'd love it.